Welcome back to the Business Book Club.
Great to be diving in again.
Today we're opening up Adam M. Grant's really essential work, Think Again, The Power of Knowing What You Don't Know.
Yeah, this one's fantastic. Grant's core idea is, well, pretty straightforward but powerful. He argues that in this crazy, fast-changing world, the number one skill isn't just being smart or, sticking to your guns.
Right.
It's actually the ability to rethink, to pause, and maybe even unlearn things we thought we knew.
That really resonates. But that cognitive laziness he talks about is, it's sneaky, isn't it?
Totally.
We think it's efficient. It just feels easier to hold on to old beliefs rather than face that, well, discomfort of doubt.
So we seize and freeze, lock it down. We just love the comfort of feeling certain.
And Grant says that comfort is pretty much the enemy of finding the truth.
Exactly. He suggests that when our big beliefs get challenged, most of us kind of automatically slip into these default modes.
Instead of acting like scientists.
Right. Instead of being objective.
Okay, so what are these default modes, these pitfalls?
Well, he identifies three main ones. We become preachers, prosecutors, or politicians.
Okay.
So preacher mode is when our sacred cows, our core ideas, get questioned. We basically start delivering sermons to protect and promote them.
Got it. Defend the faith.
Yeah. And then if we feel someone's really attacking those ideas, we can switch into prosecutor mode.
Ah, so going on the offensive.
Exactly. You stop listening. You just gather all your arguments to prove the other person wrong. It's all about winning the case.
Which I guess leads pretty naturally to the third one.
Often straight into politician mode. Now you're campaigning, you're lobbying for approval from the audience, from your peers.
Seeking validation over truth.
Yep. If the sermon doesn't land or you lose the argument, you just, find people who already agree with you, get that validation fix.
Wow. That's kind of depressing when you lay it out like that. Grant uses that powerful example, doesn't he? The gullibility expert.
Oh, Stephen Greenspan.
Yeah. An expert on being fooled who ends up investing with Bernie Madoff.
It's incredible. Greenspan apparently ignored a friend, warning him off Madoff.
Because he was too busy prosecuting the friend, preaching about how great the fund was, and politicking getting his advisor's approval.
He fell into all three traps at once. It just shows how strong these defaults are, even for really smart people.
So what's the alternative, the ideal mindset?
That's the fourth one, scientist mode.
Okay.
Scientists are, in essence, paid to doubt what they know. They treat their ideas like hypotheses.
Things to be tested, not treasures to be guarded.
Precisely. And that creates this really positive cycle. Humility allows for doubt, doubt sparks curiosity, and curiosity leads to discovery.
Okay, and this is where it gets really practical for, entrepreneurs and business folks listening.
Absolutely. This isn't just academic theory.
Right.
There was this great study with Italian entrepreneurs. Some were trained in this scientific thinking approach.
So treating their strategy like a theory, their product like an experiment.
Exactly. And the difference was amazing. They pivoted their businesses more than twice as often as the control group.
Okay, more pivots. That makes sense if you're experimenting. But what about the results?
Get this. Their average revenue ended up being over $12,000.
Okay.
Compared to under $300 for the control group that stuck to the old ways.
Wait, say that again? 12,000 versus less than 300.
Yep, that's the difference.
Wow. That's not just a small edge, that's a completely different outcome. It shows that just being willing to rethink can be the deciding factor.
It really highlights the power of being agile in your thinking. But it raises a question, doesn't it?
Which is?
If the answer is just think like a scientist, why is it often the smartest people who find this the hardest?
Yes. The intelligence curse, as Grant calls it.
Right. Your intelligence can actually become a weapon you use against yourself.
How so?
Well, the smarter you are, the better you are at constructing arguments, right? So you become really, really good at building this fortress around your existing beliefs. You use that big brain just to shoot down any evidence that contradicts what you already think.
That's confirmation bias and desirability bias working together, looking for proof you're right and ignoring anything else.
And worse, smart people are apparently more prone to the I'm not biased bias.
Oh, the irony. Blind to their own biases because they think they're too smart to have them.
Exactly. Which makes rethinking even harder.
Okay, so it's not just about what we think, but maybe how certain we are. We need that humility to break out of preacher or prosecutor mode. How do we, adjust that confidence level? Avoid getting stuck on, what does he call it?
Getting stranded on Mount Stupid.
Right. Mount Stupid. Love that.
We need to recognize and avoid the overconfidence cycle.
Which starts with?
It starts with pride. That leads to conviction. which then triggers all those biases we just talked about.
Confirmation bias, desirability bias.
Yep, which then leads to seeking out validation, people agreeing with you, which just pumps up your pride even more.
And round it goes. That's the armchair quarterback syndrome, right? Confidence way outstrips competence.
Totally. And the root cause is often the Dunning-Kruger effect.
Ah, the classic. People who aren't good at something often think they're great at it.
Because they lack the very competence needed to recognize their own incompetence.
They don't know what they don't know.
Exactly. That steady detail is so vivid. People scoring in the 12th percentile on logic tests. They estimated themselves to be in the 62nd percentile.
Wow. Straight to the summit of Mount Stupid.
The least skilled are often the most confident. It's a dangerous place to be, especially in business.
Okay, so overconfidence is bad, but then Grant flips it, doesn't he? He talks about the upside of doubt.
He does. He suggests that maybe imposter syndrome isn't always the enemy we think it is.
That feels really counterintuitive. Feeling like a fraud is usually seen as a negative thing.
It can be paralyzing, for sure. But Grant argues that when your competence actually outpaces your confidence, that feeling of doubt can be like psychological fuel.
Fuel?
Yeah.
How?
Well, first, it can make you work harder. You feel you have more to prove. Second, it pushes you to work smarter.
Because you're constantly questioning your approach, rethinking your strategy.
Exactly. And maybe most importantly, it makes you a better learner.
How so?
Because if you doubt your own knowledge, you're more likely to seek out advice and insights from others rather than just trusting your gut.
That makes sense. He mentions a study about that, right?
Yeah.
With medical students.
Yeah, fascinating one. Students reporting more imposter thoughts actually showed significantly better bedside manner.
Really? Why?
They were more empathetic, listened better, took more time explaining things, probably because they hadn't let pride convince them they already knew everything the patient needed.
So a little bit of doubt keeps you grounded and open. How do we cultivate that healthy doubt without getting paralyzed? Grant talks about detachment.
Yes, two key forms. First, detach your present from your past.
Meaning?
Meaning you need to be okay with seeing your past self as, well, maybe a bit mistaken or less knowledgeable.
Like Ray Dalio's quote.
Yeah, something like, if you don't look back and think, wow, how stupid I was a year ago, you probably haven't learned much. You need to allow for that growth.
Okay, detach from past self. What's the second one?
This one's maybe even bigger. Detach your opinions from your identity.
Ooh, okay. So don't be the person who only believes X.
Right. Base your identity on core values like curiosity, learning, integrity, rather than on rigid beliefs or opinions. Your opinions are hypotheses, not who you are.
So who you are is a learner, a curious person. What you believe right now is just your current best guess, open to revision.
Exactly. That gives you the flexibility to update your views when new evidence comes along without feeling like your whole identity is under attack.
Okay, this makes sense for individuals, but rethinking often happens in groups, in teams. What about that?
Right. And a big mistake teams make is thinking harmony is the goal.
When actually,
Grant says, the absence of conflict is not harmony, it's apathy. You need the right kind of conflict.
he distinguishes between task conflict and relationship conflict, right?
Yes. Task conflict is good. That's clashing about ideas, strategies, the work itself. Should we use this channel or that one?
Healthy debate.
Healthy debate. But relationship conflict is destructive. That's personal emotional attacks. You're always pushing your bad ideas.
And the best teams.
Studies, like the Silicon Valley one he mentions, show high-performing teams often start with high task conflict, but keep relationship conflict low. They argue about the work, not each other.
So we actually need people who will disagree with us productively, not just cheerleaders.
Absolutely. You need what Grant calls a challenge network.
A challenge network, like designated critics.
Thoughtful critics, yeah. People you trust to poke holes in your ideas, point out blind spots. Sometimes they might even be, a bit disagreeable, but you trust their intent.
Like the Pixar example of Brad Bird bringing in the Misfit.
Exactly. He wanted people who weren't afraid to challenge him, to push back, because he knew it would force innovation and make the films better. Like The Incredibles.
Okay, so you build this network, but how do you actually have those challenging conversations without them turning into relationship conflict?
You have to approach debate differently. Less like war, more like a dance.
A dance.
Yeah. It's not about demolishing the other person's argument. It's about understanding it, maybe even strengthening it, the steelman idea, before you critique it.
And modeling that confident humility we talked about.
Crucial. Expressing your view with, say, moderate confidence. Admitting some uncertainty actually makes you more credible and persuasive. Coming in hot just makes people defensive.
Puts them right into prosecutor mode.
Instantly. The goal isn't to force agreement. Grant highlights motivational interviewing.
What's the principle there?
It's about guiding, not commanding. Asking open-ended questions, really listening reflectively, affirming their ability to think things through and change. The core idea.
Yeah.
The person most likely to persuade you is, well, you.
So you help them persuade themselves by exploring their own thinking.
Exactly. You facilitate their rethinking process.
And for those really tough cases where someone seems completely dug in, there's that killer question Grant suggests.
Yes. Simple but powerful. What evidence would change your mind?
And if the answer is nothing...
Then you know. You know there's probably no point continuing that particular debate right now. Save your energy.
Okay, let's bring this home for entrepreneurs, for leaders listening. How do you build an entire organization that embraces this rethinking mindset?
Grant talks about creating a learning zone.
And that zone exists at the intersection of...
Two key things: psychological safety and process accountability.
Okay, break this down. Psychological safety.
That's the feeling that people can speak up, challenge ideas, admit mistakes, take thoughtful risks without fear of being punished or humiliated.
And leaders set the tone for that.
Absolutely. They have to model humility themselves, admit their own flaws, talk about what they're learning. That makes it safe for others.
Okay, safety is one half. What's process accountability?
This is crucial. It means you judge decisions based on the quality of the thinking that went into them, not just on the outcome.
Why is that so important?
Because focusing only on outcomes rewards luck and punishes smart experiments that happen to fail.
Right. A bad decision might get lucky and look good, while a really well-thought-out risk might fail due to factors outside your control.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
you need something like a rethinking scorecard. Did we consider alternatives? Did we seek out disconfirming evidence? How did we make the call?
So bad process plus good outcome, luck. Don't repeat it blindly.
Right. And good process plus bad outcome. Smart experiment. Learn from it. Refine the process.
That completely changes how you learn from both successes and failures. Prevents people from just doubling down on things due to ego.
Or some costs, yeah.
And finally, Grant applies this to our careers, our life paths too, right?
He does. He suggests ditching the rigid 10-year plan. Because passions often aren't just discovered whole. They're developed through trying things, through curiosity. Planning just 1 or 2 steps ahead keeps you open to unexpected opportunities.
So stay agile in your career path too.
And he advises scheduling a regular career checkup, maybe twice a year,
To do what?
to consciously reassess, are my goals still the same? Is this path still energizing me? Am I learning?
It's a way to avoid that escalation of commitment just sticking with something because you've already invested so much time or effort, even if it's not working.
Exactly. A deliberate pause to rethink your own trajectory.
So wrapping this all up, the big takeaway from Think, again, seems to be, treat everything, your business, your team, your career, like a series of experiments.
Run by a curious, humble scientist. Be willing to doubt, be willing to be wrong, be willing to update your views based on evidence.
That constant cycle of rethinking, questioning, and learning, it's not a weakness, it's the ultimate strength in a changing world.
It really is a powerful framework for navigating complexity and, frankly, avoiding the very real danger of being confidently wrong.
So here's the thought for everyone listening to take into their week. Ask yourself, what's one cherished belief, one best practice in your work or life that you should probably be running a little experiment on right now?
That's a great challenge. And if you found this deep dive useful, if you want more insights from essential business books, definitely subscribe to the Business Book Club.
We'll be back soon with another one. Catch you next time.
Now, that's a wrap for this episode of the Business Book Club. If you enjoyed the ride, make sure to subscribe so you'll never miss our next deep dive. Got a favorite business book you'd love us to explore? Let us know. We're always up for a good read. And hey, don't keep all these insights to yourself. Share this episode with a fellow book lover or your work buddy who's always looking to level up. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and we'll see you in the next episode.